Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Korash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, the hopeful elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is Gain of Function Experiment, right? And basically it goes into the ill dealings of the wicked, right? Esau Edom, and now he's connected to these pestilence, that's been coming out, which we'll just get that gain of function right now. Because what I'm about to do is just going to just news about Bible Lab and gain of function. Now these devils are tied to it, so you have to connect the dots. This subject, when brothers speak on it, they delete the videos and give us a lot of problems because they're very guilty, right? The same reason why they don't want us speaking the truth, right? Because the house is a house of lies, right? And what we do, is bring we're bringing down strongholds, right? And their strongholds are lies, and we're bringing the truth. So let me grab that. Is it 1 Corinthians 10:11? Right. Okay. So we're bringing down strongholds. This is Second Corinthians 10 and verse 3. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Right? Everything we do is spiritual, right? We don't use carnal means to try to, bring down this government. We're waiting on our Lord Yahweh Shai, right, to return to do that. All right. In the meantime, as it says in Second Thessalonians 2, we're destroying him. Let me grab that. Right. So this devil has been revealed, right? Shameful spewing is being put on this devil. That's why everything is being exposed about his ill dealings. Let me just get it from 7. But you see, the man of lawlessness, that's the wicked, right? The Edomites, the self-proclaimed white man. Okay, he runs and controls the world, right? So whatever is happening in the world, he's the controller of it. Okay, he allows it to go down. If not, he'll go in there, send the military, or send the CIA, FBI, or whatever he needs to do to stop the situation. This is Second Thessalonians, right? That's Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. It says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work." This is the Roman Empire. The Romans were Edomites. All right, and Paul knew this. It says, "The mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way." It says, "For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way." So the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Shai, wanted this devil to be hidden, right? Because that's how he brought him up, you know, to hide him and whatnot. But now in these last days, the Romans are back. This is the revived Roman Empire, right? And they're still at work, and it goes to the top, the banking elites, right? The Rothschilds and so on and so forth with these banking families. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth." See, that's what we're doing. The Most High Yahweh Bashem Shai sent men to planet Earth, right, to preach and teach this word and to bring down these strongholds that I'm going to get into, men that will stand boldly, right, in the face of their enemies. And that's what's happening right now. All right. It says, "And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming," because Yahweh Shai, like I said, our Lord is going to return and destroy him, right, with a physical force. And that force is him. It's not us, right? So again, basically our weapons are not carnal but spiritual. It says even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Right. So that's how these children of Satan, the Edomites, are coming. Right. They were created to be the wicked. Right. It says the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. Right. And that's with John 10 and 10. And you have Isaiah 32, where it goes into the devices of this devil, are cruel, right? And these biolabs are cruel devices. Isaiah 32 and 7 says the instruments also of the troll are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak right. So when you think about these pestilence, now you can make these things happen by altering it, and then saying, oh no, look, there's something happening. All you need to stand 6 part away, don't have sex, don't eat nothing, just complete madness. So AMP says AMP, it says, as for the rogue, his weapons are evil. He conceived wicked plans to ruin the poor with lies, even when the plea of the needy one is just and right. Right. So going back to the 2020, right? I remember whenever it happened, Russia went up into Ukraine, and there was a big talk about those biolabs. It's like biolabs everywhere. There was like international crime and whatnot, and basically the West America, and Israel was covering it up. Bill Gates he went into hiding for a little bit. Now he's back. And when that was happening, bro went into hiding, and then he was somewhere in Africa, trying to take the breast milk from those African women to get them hooked on, the powder shit. But now he's back, because we got the next one, which he said when the next one comes, it'll definitely get their attention. But anyway, they started talking about the body lab, and they was trying to hide it, say it doesn't exist. But now, because executive order of Donald Trump, they got somebody up there that's actually looking into these things. But anyway, because now I'm thinking about other scriptures. Let me grab that then, because the Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shah has confounded their counsel. You just sign executive orders, and then you got these people looking to things that you really don't want to look into. Kind of like when Elon Musk allowed the location of the different things on X, and then it turns out the CIA and all of that shit was founded in Israel. People's like, what the hell? That's weird. Why that? And like, why the hell? Which we know exactly why it's like that, because these devils run the world. But if you really think about it, in America, you see your own CIA funded or founded in Israel when the first time the app was made, it was made in Israel. And then they fucked around and took on government on government or whatever, government profiles, you don't see where it was made. Which you only need to do that because it's something fishy, something don't smell right with that situation, basically. Anyway, Isaiah 19 and 3, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. All right, so the counsel of these devils is through. Trump came in office, this man signed like 1 billion executive orders and still signing executive orders, right? He's just doing things, and a lot of these people are divided. They're not really connected. So you sign an executive order to do something, people go do it. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. But we will get into it. It says, 2 Corinthians 10 and 3, it says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh, Bashim Shah, to the pulling down of strongholds. Let's see what the strongholds, if it's together, let's see what it's talking about. Okay. It says anything on which one relies. Okay. And that's a good meaning right there. That's a stronghold. Anything on which one relies. And these devils, rely on their lives. Let me grab this one too, because that's all they do. Let me get this John 8 and 44. So now this was, I was trying to talk to our people, but we're going back to Satan, right? Or the devil, right? And devil means deceiver. Satan is adversary, and that's Esau, Edom, right? He is the children of Satan, right? And if our people, are heathen this time, then they're the children of Satan until they get, uh, you know, burnt up in this fire that's coming, right? Recycled to be birthed in the kingdom. But anyway, John 8 and 44 says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth." Who was that? Cain, right? Because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Right? So that was that wicked seed line that the Most High put into planet Earth, right? Good and evil. It's like every movie you ever watch in your life, there's always a good and evil. This is the Most High's movie. He gave you a Bible, a book with the script right in there, and he gave you men to explain it to you. Right? The Edomites are wicked, all right, and they're liars, and that's their stronghold, lies. The scriptures say in Revelation 20 that he went out and deceived the nations, right? Deceive. That's devil. And let me go look at it real quick. Get that. See what it's talking about. To deceive. It says to cause to stray, to lead astray, lead aside from the right way, to go astray, one to run about, to lead away from the truth, to lead into error, to deceive. Right? Yeah, he got you believing everything but the truth, right? Because it's all lies, right? If it's not the truth, then it's a lie. And that's what the devil wants you to believe, the lies. It says, 1 Corinthians 2, verse 10, chapter 10, verse 4, it says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh Bashim Shai to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, and having any readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled." We're made, righteous judges, right? Planet Earth, right? And we're bringing down these different strongholds, casting down imaginations, right? And everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahweh. And that's this devil, right? So getting into this right here, gain of function experiments. This is what they're going to talk about, but that's what I titled the video. So I'm gonna give it to you right now. Gain of function experiments involve genetically altering an organism to confer a new or enhanced biological trait, such as increasing the pathogen's transmissibility, right? So it can spread faster, virulence, or host range. So they're able to alter these different pestilences to make them do things that they normally would not do. Kind of like what we're seeing now when people are saying that this new hunter pestilence is now transmitting to human, which is rare, right? So this is not medical information. I'm not a doctor. You can seek Bill Gates for that. I heard he's a doctor. Um, while controversial due to biosafety risks, it is utilized to preemptively study pandemic potential and develop medical No, when this devil finds a weapon and he does something, it's like, oh, this shit is spreading, it's killing. He's gonna, do something with that. So that's gain of function, and that's what they've been doing. Now let's get into it here. Now this is a TASS. It's a Russian news agency, right? And what you can do if you got a problem with that is take this title and go search it up and see if you can find it somewhere else, you know, that's going to give you the news. But they usually be on point with just a whole bunch of different things that's happening. We got here, Russia is going to do some nuclear test drills, but that's right after Trump said they're going to do their nuclear test drills actually tomorrow. So they said they're going to do. The USA said they're going to test nuclear ICBM, tomorrow, May 20th. And then I guess Russia is on that now. All right. So this is May 19th. U.S. probe confirms presence of military biological facilities near Russia border. Now, what happened was Donald Trump signed an executive order to uh, basically stop this or something because the money situation in America is poor as hell. So they was paying for this, and Trump is trying to keep all the money for himself, whatever he's doing with it. So he signed an executive order to look into it or to stop it. And Tulsi Gabbard, she was like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. And I guess she found some information, and it's leading to like, well, yeah, America is the criminal here, and they end up raiding her office and all of that. But what this just shows that this is the wicked, right? The devil, right? He's being exposed. Shameful spewing is being put on this devil, right? Which we'll get probably Isaiah 47 and some Habakkuk too. Says the authorization from U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard to launch an official probe into more than 120 American bio laboratories abroad, including over 40 in Ukraine, de facto confirms that there exists a network of military biological facilities that Russia has considered a threat for decades. Military expert Boris Bozin wrote in a column for TASS. And I think even they tried to take him to court for this. They were saying you were making weapons that only affect Russians. Just a whole bunch of things were happening. That Ukraine situation in those biolabs around. I remember people, I forgot exactly how it went down, but I know they were trying to link it to the 2020, which came out to be, yeah, they didn't know what the hell they were doing with juice jabs and all that, right? Earlier, Gabbard announced a probe into more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries that were funded by American taxpayers for decades. So that means the civilians were paying the government the taxes, and the government was using it to fund biolabs that end up, that did things. It says, according to the New York Post, more than 40 of those laboratories are located in Ukraine. The materials obtained by Russia were presented by late Chief of Russia's Radiation, Chemical, and Biological Protection Troops, Lieutenant General Igor Kirilov, until his death as a result of a terrorist attack. Now, I'm not sure if this is the one that got obliterated by the scooter coming out of the building. I don't know. I think it was a small scooter, like the ones you see, the people riding down up and down the street. Sometimes some places they paint it like green and gray, and you can just rent it. And college students probably use it or whatever. Anyway, but people only one person is known to put bombs into small electric devices. I mean, you had the CK event, you had the pager event, and you had the scooter event. I mean, if I was an investigator, I know where I would start. But anyway, it says until his death as a result of a terrorist attack, he had actually acted as the key figure in the Russian efforts to counteract U.S. military biological expansion, as he regularly presented evidence of development of artificial pathogens in preparation for biological warfare. He explained. The probe will ultimately transfer the issue of American military biological activity abroad from the level of charges to the status of legal regulation, or he argued, yeah, because they was like, who the hell is who controls this? Who's doing it? Is it real? Is it not real? But now their own tone has fallen on them because of these executive orders, which is 64 and 8. Some 64 and 8, which you want to get this video and you're going to see. It says Psalm 64 and 8, it says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. According to him, Russia has repeatedly warned that similar research creates the risk of lethal diseases, posing a direct threat to the population in countries housing biolabs as well as people from adjacent nations. Amid global migration and the intensity of transport flow, such activities pose a danger to entire humankind, experts concluded. And that is exactly what these banking elites want, to bring us back to problem. Right, and things about to get busy now. You got Memorial Week, you got the World Cup, summer coming. There's something else too. It's a lot happening right now, especially with this new hunter, walking around lurking in darkness. So I search it up over here. It's all over the place if you want to know.
Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard now investigating over 120 biolabs abroad funded by U.S. taxpayer money. The goal, stop dangerous research that potentially threatens the health and well-being of Americans. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris joining us. We know a big part of this investigation is focused specifically on gain-of-function research. Break down the details.
So Gabbard telling the New York Post earlier this week, her team is working to identify where these labs are, what pathogens they contain, and what research is being done to end gain-of-function research, which involves modifying organisms to enhance biological functions. Under the guidance from Gabbard, the U.S. intelligence community will review research at all U.S.-funded biolabs, including facilities engaged in gain-of-function experiments. Officials noting here the foreign labs extend into over 30 countries, with multiple having received past funding seeking to dispose of weapons of mass destruction after the end of the Cold War. Over 40 of those biolabs are located in Ukraine, with officials saying they could be at risk due to the ongoing war in Russia. Here's Gabbard just last year.
We have to end this gain-of-function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Now, shortly after that interview, President Trump did sign an executive order banning all federal funding for gain-of-function research in China, Iran, or other nations that don't have proper oversight. Trump also calling out the Biden administration for allowing dangerous gain-of-function research in the United States. Now, this new probe coming shortly after the statute of limitations expired to file charges against Dr. Anthony Fauci for allegedly lying under oath about gain-of-function research during the pandemic, specifically whether or not the NIH funded such research in Wuhan, China.
With 2020, So, I'm gonna grab this real quick and go back over there. Isaiah 47:1, it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. I'm gonna grab the NLT. Isaiah 47:1, come down, virgin daughter of Babylon, and sit in the dust, for your days of sitting on a throne have ended, O daughter of Babylonia. Never again will you be the lovely princess, tender and delicate. Take heavy millstones, grind flour, remove your veil and strip off your robe, expose yourself to public view. So exposing yourself to public view, having your ass cheeks out, your titties bouncing, belly button popping, is looked down upon. It says, you will be naked and burdened with shame. I will take vengeance against you without pity. All right. So America should be ashamed, along with you women that's out there doing that. But anyway, yeah, I seen some shit last night coming from just with the budgets and whatever. So I thought I'd throw it out there. But yeah. Shameful stealing on this devil. Shameful stealing on this devil, right? For being a fucking whore. So I was searching the comments here. It says funny, and a day later, the CIA raised her office. Tulsi is the only one truly standing up for human health and safety. Says, and now her office is raided by the CIA. You know, so people are, that's what they said. I looked it up, you know. Over here. So the office was raided, I believe, and some papers are either missing or not missing, and there's an argument about that. But I mean, I didn't expect to get much. Maybe somebody know, you know, something I don't know, and you can drop it in the comment section. Anyway, Tulsi Gabbard's office denies Florida lawmakers' claim of CIA raid seizing. So I think the CIA raid did happen, but the seizing of JFK MK Ultra documents. And the reason why this raid will have happened and they took these documents is because she's actually doing her job. She's doing what Donald Trump told her to do, and now she's causing problems, especially with these devils making plans as we get closer to the end. And now there's information about biolabs coming out, you know. Says So they're divided. Matthew 12:25, it says, and Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, who is divided against himself, how shall then his kingdom stand? Right. So they're completely divided, you know, on how to operate, how to control what one person knows and what one person doesn't know. All right. And that's why this lady is getting ready, because she did what she was supposed to do, and she's saying too much. So basically the office was raided, and they're saying whether or not paperwork was taken or not, right, relating to, I guess, other things. It really was like, you know, I guess a message, send a message or something, whatever the case may be. You can look into that. And pretty much that's all I had on this. You know, I just shameful spewing on this devil, right? He's been exposed, and you know, maybe more will come out on this. All right. Habakkuk 2:15, woe unto him that give his neighbor drink, and that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shameful glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, right? The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory, right? So this is talking about the wicked, right? And that cup is turned unto them, and shameful spewing is now on them. They're being exposed to everything they've been doing, right? It's all coming out, and people are seeing it, you know? So, Lord willing, you edify the lesson. Shalom to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.